सर आवाज नाही येत.
ओके ओके. आता येतोय आवाज?
हो सर.
ओके ओके. सो ह्या स्लाइड वर होता आवाज?
नाही सर, स्टार्टिंग पासून. हा.
Okay, so I will begin again. Okay, so today let's start our lecture about the stability analysis using Bode plots. Now this is part of the 5th unit, which is also consisting of frequency domain analysis of the systems. Okay, as usual, we are only talking about LTI systems in the in control system. One LTI means linear time invariant systems, right? We are only talking about linear time invariant systems in this subject. And during the frequency domain analysis, what we do is we apply a sinusoidal wave, sinusoidal signal as an input. We keep the amplitude constant. We keep the amplitude constant. We only change the frequency of the signal, and the LTI system provides output which is of the same frequency as input, but the magnitude or the amplitude of the sinusoid and the phase angle of the sinusoid may change. These are the changes that can happen because of the system operation. Okay, so in the Bode plot, what we do is we plot those two changes. Means there are actually two graphs. One is the plot of the magnitude of a sinusoidal transfer function, and other is the phase angle of the sinusoidal transfer function, phase angle of the plot. And both are plotted against the frequency on a logarithmic scale. Now, why logarithmic scale? Is because when we use logarithmic scale, we can plot a large range of frequencies. A large range of frequencies we can plot on a single diagram or on a shorter diagram, I would say. For example, here is a hypothetical example of a Bode plot. You see, this is the x-axis, right? This is the x-axis, standard horizontal axis. On this, you can see we are starting at 10 raised to 0. Remember, we are not starting at 0. We are not starting at 0 frequency. We are starting at 10 raised to 0. Okay. What is the value of 10 raised to 0? 10 raised to 0 means 1. Okay. Then we go to the next equidistant value is 10 raised to 1. Then 10 raised to 2. Then after the same amount of distance, you will have 10 raised to 3. Means what? 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, like that. Multiple of 10. So what has happened? We started with 1, and within let's say two major divisions. Okay, I'm saying these are major divisions. Within two major divisions, we reached 100. If I want to plot the same thing on a smaller graph, or let's say on a regular linear graph or standard graph paper, if let's say I want to plot frequencies from 1 hertz to 10,000 hertz, so what will be the scale for the smaller frequencies and what will be the scale for larger frequencies? The scale will be same, and because of that, smaller frequencies will be all congested and we will not be able to see the differences. That is the advantage of using logarithmic scale. That what we do or what we get is lower frequency range. This is, let's say, lower frequency range, right? 1 hertz to, this is not 0. Remember, this is 10 raised to 0 means 1. 1 hertz to 10 hertz, or typically it is not hertz, actually it is radians per second. So from 1 to 10, the amount of the distance on the graph paper is equal to 10 to 100, right? So how many? Here we have only 9, right? The range of frequencies is 9 radians per second. Whereas here, the range of frequencies is 90. Am I right? Right? Is it correct? Here, the range is 9 Here it is 90. What will be the further range? It will be 900 because it is starting from 100. This is 100. And the next major division is going to be 10 raised to 3, means 1000, right? See, you are getting the difference. The lower frequencies are getting expanded. The lower frequency range is getting expanded on logarithmic scale. Okay, so that we can observe them properly. So this is the advantage of using Bode diagram. And ultimately what happens is our full range of frequencies get expanded a lot. On a small graph paper, we can plot for a lot of frequency range, a large frequency range we can plot. Okay. Additionally, on the upper graph, what is this upper graph? You can see this is the magnitude and it is plotted in dB or decibels. So what is the formula for decibels? It is 20 log of m. M is the magnitude of the function. 20 log of m, and this logarithmic is base 10 logarithm, remember. Okay, it is not a natural logarithm or not base e logarithm, it is base 10 logarithm. Okay, so this is the decibel scale on which the magnitude is plotted. So in a way, the magnitude plot is also logarithmic values of the gain, but the values are converted, and the scale itself, if you see, the scale itself of the graph is linear. These are linear values, right? You can see 6 minus 60 minus 40 minus 20, 0, 20 equally spaced, and distance between each major division is 20. So this is a linear scale graph on one axis and logarithmic scale graph on another axis. See here, these smaller divisions, these are not equal distance divisions. These are logarithmically scaled divisions. So that's why this is called a semi-log paper. Okay, this is called a semi-log paper because on one scale or on one axis we have logarithmic scale, or simply put as log scale, and on another axis it is a linear scale, right? It is a linear scale. See, all the divisions are equally spaced on the y-axis. Now again, going back to the this one, you see we cannot have zero frequency on this axis. Zero frequency we cannot plot. Why? Can someone tell me why we cannot plot zero frequency? Because what will be the value of frequency of, let's say, if I extend this graph and here, what will be the value of frequency here? 10 raised to 0 is here, 10 raised to 1 is here, 10 raised to 2 is here. So here 10 raised to minus 1, what is that value? What is that value? It is 0.1. If you even go for further towards left side, it will be 0.01. 0.001. So you are going to get very smaller frequencies, but mathematically you are never going to get a zero frequency because there is no value of x which will make 10 raised to x equal to 0. Okay. So generally, typically we start with either 1 or 0.1 depending on the specification of the system. If the system is really a low pass filter, which is where we want to see what is its response for very low frequencies, then only we will go for lower frequencies here on x-axis. Otherwise, we start generally from 0.1 or 1. Okay. Phase angle, it is chosen based on the values of the phase angle that we calculate. We are going to see how these calculations are going to work out. Okay. Okay, so this is a semi-log paper, and you are supposed to draw the Bode plots on semi-log paper only. Okay, the semi-log paper that you are going to get, you will have to divide it in two sections. The top section we will have Bode magnitude plot, and on the bottom section we will have Bode phase plot. The x-axis scale will be common to both because that is the requirement. And based on the two graphs, we are going to estimate certain parameters which we saw in yesterday's lecture. The parameters are, what important parameters we saw yesterday on the last slide? The very last slide that we saw yesterday. It was phase crossover frequency, gain crossover frequency, phase margin, and gain margin. These four things we have to determine, or we have to calculate from the Bode plot, and that we are going to do using the plots, and that is only possible if we use a common scale on the x-axis. Okay, so we are going to see that also, how to plot and how to calculate those. So let's begin the calculation, the process for calculating. Okay, just to keep you aware, you probably know this, or I don't know, this division, each of these division is called a decade. Okay, the major divisions, okay, not the smaller ones. The major divisions is called, the range of the frequencies between the major divisions is called decade. Now, why I'm talking this is because we are going to use this word a lot during our discussion of frequency, especially the magnitude response. See, decade distance or the range between two major divisions. So what is your idea about this decade? What is the relationship? The relationship is, every time you go from one decade higher, the frequency becomes how much? Frequency is 10 times, right? Frequency is 10 times, or in other words, the ratio between the higher frequency and lower frequency of the decade, or higher end frequency and lower end frequency of the decade is 10. The ratio between them is 10. We saw on the last slide also, right? 0.1, 1, 10, 100, like this. So if you see, 100 by 10 is 10, 10 by 1 is 10, 1 by 0.1 is 10, right? The ratio is constant, and that ratio is 10. The ratio is 10. Okay, the frequency gets multiplied by 10. So what will be the values of these divisions? Can someone tell me now what will be the value of, let's say this is 1, okay? This is 1 here, this is 1. So what will be this value? Okay, and what will be this value? I am putting this as A and this point as B. What is the value of A and what is the value of B? Can someone tell me? This is 10. Okay, this is 1. This major division is 1. This major division is 10. So what are the values of point A and point B? The frequency. What are the values of frequencies of point A and point B? Yes? Priti? Anjali? Yes? What is the value of A and what is the value of B? The frequency on this scale. This is 1, this is 10, right? So what is the value of A and what is the value of B? Afroz? We are talking about a logarithmic scale. By the way, have you seen this kind of paper earlier? Have you used this kind of a paper earlier? I guess in NA you have seen. Yes, you have seen in NA, network analysis, you have plotted graph on this. For a filter, low pass filter, high pass filter output, you have plotted on this kind of a graph paper.
Yes.
So what are the values of A and B? Yes, anyone? Okay, so let me tell you, can you count how many divisions are there from this between each major division? How many divisions are there? There are not 10 divisions. There are 9. There are 9 divisions. Remember, just take a closer look. There are 9 divisions. There are not 10 divisions. And how do you proceed with that? How do you calculate the next value? Is just keep on adding the previous measure one into each of it. So if this is 1, then you add 1 to it. So this way, this A is equal to 2. Okay. Then in a series, if you continue 2, 3, 4, and like this, you will go up to 9, and then the major division will come as 10. Okay. So 10 is a major division. So once 10 comes, your scale changes. The counting scale, the scale on which you are adding. You are adding 1, right? Now after 10, you will start adding 10. So into 10, if you add 10, what you will get? B is equal to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then 100. Okay. So once you get 100, if this is the point C, your addition scale will change and you will start adding 100. So C is equal to 200. Okay. Remember this. This is required for you to understand. Everyone must understand this scale. Otherwise, you will not be able to plot on this graph. You have to plot certain values, a lot of values of course you have to plot. If you want to plot something on a graph, you must know the graph. Okay. Are you getting this? What is the trick? Just every division, every smaller division, I would say, every smaller division is obtained by adding the previous major division value into the current value. Okay. Every smaller division is obtained by adding previous major value into the current value. So after A is equal to 2, here let's say if this is D, then D is A plus this major division 1. A is value 2, then you add 1, you get 3. Okay. Remember this thing, how you are getting the scale. Okay. Now let's move on to the calculation of Bode plot. Now remember that Bode plot obviously is going to be even the magnitude as well as phase plot both are going to be some smooth curves, some smooth functions of frequency. However, when we calculate on paper, it is not really possible for us to calculate the magnitudes. Like, for example, this is the function given. So we have to calculate the magnitude of this function for a lot of values, a large range of frequencies we have to calculate to get the graph. But it is not really possible. And there is a way to plot this kind of Bode plots, and that is called asymptotic Bode plot. Asymptotes, you remember this word asymptotes? We use this word in the root locus analysis. What is an asymptote? It is a straight line approximation of a curve, right? So Bode plot is going to be a curve, obviously, but during certain ranges, it is going to follow a straight line path. And when we plot the Bode plot on paper, we use those straight line approximations between the ranges, certain ranges of frequencies, and we use that to plot the Bode plot. That's why our Bode plot is sometimes also referred to as asymptotic Bode plot. Okay, so don't get confused if someone asks you to plot a Bode plot, or sometimes they ask you to plot asymptotic Bode plot. Both the things are same for paper drawing, for drawing on paper. For software, obviously, it is not going to use the asymptotic version. It is going to plot the proper plots. Okay. So when we get a transfer function, there are certain various factors like a gain K, there are some integral and derivative factors like j omega raised to plus minus 1, means s raised to plus 1 or s raised to minus 1. Means what? S either in numerator or s in denominator, right? Like these kind of factors we have. Then there are first order factors like this. For example, 1 plus j omega t. There can be multiple factors, of course. Multiple factors like this. Even multiple integral and derivative factors, right? And there could be quadratic factors. If there are higher order factors, they can obviously decompose into first order factors. Even the quadratic factor can also be decomposed into first order factor, right? So what we are going to see is, as I just said, that Bode plot makes an approximation, or or better way it called as asymptotic approximation of the magnitude plot. And that is how we are going to draw the plots. Okay. So let's begin with the first factor, which is a gain k. A gain is a, what is gain? It is a, basically it is a scalar. It is basically a number, right? It's going to be a number, constant. So the magnitude of the gain factor is going to be what? 20 log k on the decibel scales, right? 20 log k. So whatever value of frequencies, even if frequency is 0 hertz or 10 kilohertz or 0 radians per second or 10 radians per second or 100 radians per second, is it going to change? Is the gain going to change? Is the value of 20 log k going to change? No, gain k is constant. So what it means, it is going to be a horizontal straight line, and the line will be drawn at y-axis value is equal to 20 log k. Okay. The phase angle contributed by gain k is 0. Okay. Now, by the way, what I'm talking about, why we are talking about the angle contributed and the phase, because you know the basic we have talked about, that these factors, all these factors can also be decomposed, and their ultimate value of the magnitude as well as phase would be what? Magnitude will be equal to multiplication of individual magnitudes, right? We have seen this in the initial lecture. If there are total n factors, including the numerator and denominator factors, whatever factors are, everything you can represent as multiplication, right? For example, this g of s given here, we can represent as 20 multiplied by 3s plus 1 multiplied by 1 by s multiplied by 1 by s plus 1 multiplied by 1 by s square plus 5s plus 2, right? In this way also we can represent it. So the magnitude is going to be multiplication of all individual magnitudes, and the phase angle of this whole function g of j omega, it is going to be what? Addition of angles of let's say phi 1 here, additions of individual phase angles. Okay, we have seen this at the time of discussing about frequency domain response. This relationship we established for getting the output, but the same relationship holds here also, that magnitude is multiplication of individual magnitudes and phase angle is addition of individual phase angles. Okay. So what we are going to see is the gain k is going to contribute in the magnitude by 20 log k on decibel scales, and the phase angle is going to contribute how much? Phase angle is going to contribute by 0. because you try to find out the gain, try to find out the angle of K. It is a scalar value. It is not a complex value. It is a real value, a constant value. So there is no phase angle to it. One more thing that is happening because of this log scale of the decibels. And this is a very important one. Okay. See, the magnitude, overall magnitude of the function is multiplication of individual magnitudes, right? However, if we express this magnitude as decibel scales, in decibel scales, it is also based on logarithms. So if you take logarithm of this 20, if I take 20 log of this, log to the base 10 of this m, what will be the value here? It will be addition of the individual gains when expressed in decibel scales, right? So this gain by factor K and by other factors, all other factors will get simply added. Simple addition, arithmetic addition will be required to get the final value of K. And this is the biggest advantage of using decibel scales. Okay. Otherwise, it will be, well, if not impossible, it will be really, really difficult and infeasible for you to calculate the resultant magnitude by multiplying individual factors at every frequency. We will see how we add these frequencies when we go ahead and when we find out for a sample problem. Okay, so this is about the gain. So what will happen if I increase the gain, right? What will happen if I increase the gain? So see, let's say if K is equal to 5, okay, then 20 log K is 14 dB. So we got this. So 14 dB, whatever the frequency value is, you see, just look at the frequency axis also. It is 0.1, 1, 10. Going ahead, the power of 10 is increasing. That is the value of frequency here. Okay. And the value of gain K is still 5. Everywhere it is 5. So on this logarithmic scale also, the value of gain K is, when expressed in decibel, it is 14 dB. So what is it? It is this value. Okay, okay, this is 15 by the way. Huh? This is 15. So this is 14. Okay, so this horizontal line I have drawn here. You can see this horizontal line. Okay, you see this horizontal line. This is 14 dB line. So it is a constant line, right? Now what if 5 is reduced? The gain is reduced. What will happen? This line will move below. This line will move below towards 0 decibels, or the gain is reducing, means the gain line is reducing. If gain is increased, this particular line will increase. Now, as I said earlier, just before a while, that because of this logarithmic scale, all these gains will be ultimately added when they are expressed in decibel scale. Right? When they are expressed in decibel scale, they will get added. So if I am adding increased value of gain K, what will happen? Whatever the graph of K, graph of, let's say this is a Bode plot. Okay. Let's say this is a Bode plot. And if I increase the gain, what will happen? The same curve with the same shape, it will just what? It will shift upward if I increase the gain. Okay. The shape of the curve, everything else will remain the same, right? Only thing is, at every location, the value of gain, since it has been increased, the value of gain will increase. So the magnitude will increase at every value of frequency. Means what? The magnitude curve will shift upwards. Similarly, if we reduce the gain, the magnitude curve will shift downwards. Okay. What about the phase angle? What about the phase angle of K? Gain K. If K is equal to 5, then phi, which is the phase angle of this 5. What is the formula for phi? It is tan inverse of imaginary part by real part. So it is 0. Means K is not going to affect in any way on the phase plot. It is not going to contribute any phase. So whatever the value of frequency is, phase angle is going to be 0 for because of K. So even if you increase K or decrease K, will it change phase angle? No, it will not change phase angle. The phase angle will still remain the same, and that is 0. Okay. You're getting this? If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay. Now this was about the gain factor K. Okay. Now let's take the next basic factor, which is derivative and integral factor. So let's start with the derivative factor. Means S in denominator. Simple S in denominator. So let's say if G of S is equal to S. So to get the sinusoidal transfer function, what we do? We just replace S by J omega. Okay. So we have to use the same formula for magnitude. Magnitude of G of J omega is nothing but 20 log of omega. And the phase angle, if you calculate this value of the gain, 20 log of omega for certain values. Okay. Now see what the range of frequencies I have taken is from 0.1 to 1. Means what? I have taken one full decade, right? This word I just in the beginning of the lecture I have explained this at the time of explaining the semilog paper, that this is called a decade, right? 0.1 to 1. What was the value for 0.1? It is minus 20. You can see when you substitute 0.1 here, you will get the value as minus 20. And similarly, if you calculate for these values, you get at 1, you get value of dB is equal to, value of magnitude in dB is equal to 0. Okay. So what is this? This is basically a straight line of slope 20 dB per decade. Remember, that's why I explained what decade is. Okay. The slope line is, the slope of this straight line is 20 dB per decade, 20 decibels per decade. Now you can extend these calculations for further values also, like 2, 3, 4, up to 10. For example, you can extend. So if you get 10, what will be the value of, or what will be this particular value? 20 log of 10. Can someone tell me 20 log of 10? What will be the value? It will be 20, right? Log of 10 is 1, 20 into 1, 20. So what you can see, we started from minus 20, then 0, then 1. In every decade, the gain is, or the magnitude is increasing by 20. That's why the slope is 20 dB per decade. Means that it is a straight line with a slope of 20 dB per decade. Remember this, what we are talking, it is very important. Okay. Because this is how you are going to plot the Bode plots further. Okay, this is how we are going to plot the Bode plots further. And for MCQ point of view, most of the questions will be conceptual like this. That what is the, there is a derivative factor in a transfer function. What is its contribution in the magnitude plot? Question may be like this. So the contribution. Okay, so let's continue where we talk, from where we were talking, what we were talking about, right? So the contribution of a derivative factor means a simple S in the numerator is 20 dB per decade line. Okay, 20 dB per decade line. And what is this? We are talking about for the moment the magnitude contribution. Okay. Now, one more thing that I want to show you here is something here. Octave or octave bands. Sometimes you may have heard this word octave. Octave is a particular arrangement where the frequency gets doubled. So 0.1 to 0.2, this is doubled. 0.2 to 0.4, this is doubled. 0.4 to 0.8, this is doubled. Okay. And for this particular slope line, you can see that the slope is, you see here 6, 6, see 6, 6, 6. So 6 dB per octave, right? 20 dB per decade or 6 dB per octave. Both are the same things. Okay. Just because sometimes, especially in case of MCQs and oral, you may be asked this question. That's why I have explained this, that the slope is also explained as, or also called as, in terms of octave, and that is 6 dB per octave. Most common way, of course, is to express the slope in terms of decade, and it is 20 dB per decade. Now, when you move to the phase plot, what is the phase angle of this particular factor, derivative factor? Phase angle is tan inverse of omega upon 0, right? Tan inverse of imaginary part upon real part. Imaginary part is imaginary part is omega. So, and real part is 0. See here, here it is the value j omega only, means tan inverse of omega upon 0. So it is 90 degrees. Means what? The Bode plot, the Bode magnitude plot is going to be like this. See the 20 dB per decade line. Now, why I'm calling this a 20 dB? You check it, 20 dB per decade positive slope line. Here, when it is 0.1, it is minus 20. When it is 1, it is 0. When it is 10, it is 20. Like this, it is a straight line with a slope of 20 dB per decade. Okay. For a derivative factor, remember, for a derivative factor means S in numerator, you have straight line of positive slope of 20 dB per decade. Okay. And the phase angle, as we calculated, it is a constant of 90 degree. Constant 90 degree line. Okay. Okay. Now, what about the same factor or S in denominator, means an integral factor? So again, we have the same formula, 20 log n, but what it is now? What is happening here? So in the case of S, we have determined, you got this formula, right? You just take a look at this formula. What it is, when we say 20 log of n, it is equal to minus 20 log of 1 by n, right? Because 1 by n has, it means that n raised to minus 1 itself, right? 1 by n is equal to 1 raised to minus n. So if you substitute this, you will get the same things, right? Means what? If that S, which was earlier in the numerator, when it shifted to denominator, what happens? What happens there? The slope line will become negative. That's it. Whatever the analysis we saw about the derivative factor holds equally correctly, except for the fact that the direction will be reversed. The direction of the straight line will be opposite. Means what? The magnitude plot of an integral factor will be a straight line with a slope of minus 20 dB per decade. Okay. You see here, we can see here from the maths also, g of j omega, magnitude of g omega is equal to magnitude of 1 upon j omega, and it is nothing but, when we express it in terms of decibels, it is minus 20 log of omega. Okay, and the phase angle, nothing but just minus 90 degree, because the angle itself has become minus 1 upon j omega, right? So the phase angle is minus 90 degree. So this is again similarly a constant phase line, but it is the value of that constant phase is minus 90. So here is a magnitude plot of minus 20 dB per decade line, which is the line for integral factor. See here, I have purposefully drawn the lines from some different points without taking the values of 20, 40 like that. See here, it is starting at 30. Okay, the frequency here is 0.1. So when it goes to 1, means this is 1 decade, right? So it should decrease by 20. Minus 20 dB per decade is the slope, right? Minus 20 dB per decade is the slope. So the slope should means the value of magnitude should decrease by 20 when we go from one decade to another. So when we move from 0.1 to 1, the value of this magnitude, which was 30, so it should become 10. So at this point, it should be 10. At the next point, it should be minus 10. Why minus 10? 10 to minus 10 means minus 20 has happened. From minus 10, it should become minus 30, like this, right? So this is how a minus 20 dB per decade line can be drawn. Now remember, this line can be anywhere, right? This line, theoretically, this line can be anywhere. You should be able to draw this line or similar kind of lines of these kind of slopes. You should be able to draw at any location in the plane. At any location, I'm saying, right? Why I'm saying so? Because your lines are not going to start at the certain points. They may start from somewhere in between. They may start from some intermediate points, and you should be able to work out on those points also. Of course, you are going to see it in our next example, what I'm talking about, why we need to draw these lines. Let's say, for an example, if a line starts from here and I want to draw a 20 dB per decade positive slope line. So where should be the next point? How should be the line? Right? It should be, the next point should be here. If I am drawing positive 20 dB per decade line. Okay, so this should be that straight line. Okay, and if let's say here it is starting and it is a minus 20 dB per decade line. So where should be the next point? That point should be here. How I'm taking this? When we say per decade, means you have to identify, anyway, whenever you are drawing some slope lines, you have to identify 2 points, basically. You remember basic things about lines. If you want to draw a line, you have to find out 2 points. You need minimum 2 points to draw a line. That's similar concept is here. If I want to draw 20 dB per minus 20 dB per decade line from this point, okay, so what shall I identify? First thing, x-axis coordinate and then y-axis coordinate. So x-axis coordinate, we are talking about per decade, means the value of frequency which is separated by 1 decade. See here, this is that value, right? 1 decade separation. And on the y-axis, what is the value? It should be separated by 20. So it should be this one. Means we have to connect these 2 points by a straight line. This will be minus 20 dB per decade line. So the idea is you should be able to distinguish between the decades. If this is the starting point and I have to draw a decade line, so this is two minor divisions after major divisions. So after the next major division, go for two minor divisions. This will be again the separation of decade. Okay, so you are getting this point now. The separation, the decade separation, you should be able to find out on the logarithmic scale, x-axis scale. Y-axis is comparatively easy. It is a linear axis as far as the graph is concerned. Values are not linear, by the way. You remember, values are in decibels, which itself is a logarithmic scale. Okay, so this is about the integral factor magnitude plot, and the phase plot is going to be what? Minus 90. So it is just a negative, just a straight horizontal straight line of constant phase, and the value of that phase is going to be minus 90. Of course, the location of the line, it depends how you are putting the scale here, right? This is the scale. How to select the scale means how to select the range of values of these phases. It will depend on the range of phase angle values that you get on your by your calculations, right? We have seen that phase angles you will get by adding multiple phase angles of multiple components, right? We have seen this. Remember this, I have shown you here. The phase angle, total phase angle is going to be the addition of individual phase angles. So once you calculate the phase angle for the whole transfer function, you can see at the values, and you can find out the range for which you should draw the graph. Because there is no point in selecting a scale, for example, on this on such a graph, there is no point in having scale up to plus 180 to minus 180 if your values are going to range only from, let's say, like this. This is how much? This is something around 60, and this is something around 70, minus 70, right? Nearly 60 degrees to minus 70 degrees. If these are the range of values that you get from your calculations, then there is no point in choosing the scale of plus 180 to minus 180, right? What will happen if you do that? In that case, the graph will be, if instead of this 60, instead of this 90 here, 90 and 90 here, minus 90, if this is 180 and this is minus 180, what will happen? Your phase values are not going to change. Your graph is not going to change, but the shape of the graph is going to get affected. It will get compressed, something like this. And the effect of this is you will not be able to analyze it properly, because based on this magnitude and phase plot, we are going to estimate something. What something? The phase crossover frequency, gain crossover frequency, phase margin, and gain margin. These we are going to estimate from the phase and magnitude plots. So if your graph is very congested, then you will not be able to distinguish between those values clearly, and you may incur some errors. That's why selecting a scale is also very important. You should select your scale properly, logically. Okay. So we will stop here now today. What we have seen until now is we have seen Bode plots of some basic factors. We started with gain factor and first and simple integral and derivative factors. This is what we have seen until today. Okay. So rest of the part we will see in the next lecture on Monday, and then we will go ahead with some of the examples. All of you put your attendance in the chat box, and if you want to ask any questions, you can. Okay. Everyone put your attendance quickly, and you can ask questions if you have any questions. Okay, I guess there are no questions. So we'll stop here and we will see you on Monday. At that time, we'll continue this discussion. Don't miss it, because that's where we are going to see. Okay, let's begin now. So good afternoon. We, in our previous lecture, have already started discussing about the stability analysis using Bode plots. And we have seen certain, the general description, of course, we have seen. And what we have also seen is how we create the asymptotic Bode plots. And as it is as far as the magnitude plot is concerned, we have seen that magnitude plot is a algebraic sum of individual plots when the magnitude is expressed as decibels, because decibel is a logarithmic unit, and multiplication in normal of normal numbers, when converted into logarithm, it becomes addition. So that way, our Bode magnitude plot is calculated, created, and plotted. And the phase plot is simply addition of various phases, and those phases are also calculated one by one for each component. We have seen some of the components already. Which components we have seen already? We have seen derivative factor, integral factor, and gain factor, right? Gain factor and derivative and integral factor we have seen. Today, we are going to see one of the other most common factor in the transfer function, that is first order factor. Now, what does it mean by first order factor? First order factor, let's say numerator. So it is something like 1 plus j omega t, means simply 1 plus st. If you can recall, 1 plus st, like this, right? This is a first order factor. So we are going to see how Bode magnitude and phase plot for this particular factor can be drawn. Okay. Now remember, we are plotting asymptotic Bode plots. So we are going to make certain approximations. We cannot plot the exact Bode plot. By exact Bode plot means what? By that I mean, if you take or if you take a lot of values of omega, calculate magnitude, calculate phase, and plot those, you get normal Bode plot. But since we are unable to do that on paper, what we are going to do, we are going to make certain assumptions. We are going to make certain asymptotic assumptions, and the Bode plots will be drawn for those asymptotes. Okay. So for this particular factor, 1 plus st, when we convert it into the frequency domain transfer function, it is 1 plus j omega t. So the magnitude of this, when expressed in decibels, is 20 log of m, and m in this case is magnitude 1 plus j omega t. And if you substitute, or if you apply the formula for magnitude of a complex number, what you get? You will get 20 log of square root of 1 plus omega square t square, right? 1 plus real part square plus imaginary part square whole under root. That is the magnitude, right? And log of that magnitude multiplied by 20 is what we get is the magnitude of the of this particular factor in decibel units. Okay. Now, the approximation that I was talking about is this one. For omega is less than 1 by t. You know, we have seen that we are going to use a huge frequency range, right? We are going to use a lot of frequency range. So when omega is quite smaller than 1 by t, what will happen? You see here, when omega is smaller than 1 by t, if you substitute here, what you get? This term will be 0, and log, what only remains is log of 1, and log of 1 itself is 0. Means what? The magnitude will be 0. For which condition? For omega equal to quite less than 1 by t. Okay. And when omega is greater than 1 by t, this 1 will be negligible. The value, the contribution of 1 here when it is added, it will be negligible. So to approximate that, what we will get? We will get 20 log of omega t, right? So this is the approximation that for smaller frequencies, we get magnitude equal to 0. And for larger frequencies, we get magnitude is equal to 20 log of omega t. Now, can you relate this? Can you relate this with earlier factors that we have seen? Or can you just look, imagine the graphs of these particular sections? We have these two sections now. One section when omega is less than 1 by t, and another section when omega is greater than 1 by t. So this magnitude equal to 0 means a horizontal line, and magnitude is equal to 20 log of omega t is means what? A straight line with a slope of positive 20 dB per decade, right? Because if you can recall, this particular thing is similar to a gain, and this particular thing is similar to what? It is similar to a numerical s, numerator s, means first or just a derivative factor, right? So this will have a shape like this. There will be a straight line up to what point? Up to 1 by t. Omega is equal to 1 by t. Up to that point, you will have magnitude equal to 0. And after that, you will have magnitude equal to a slope of 20 dB per decade, right? So this is how we are getting the approximated values of the magnitude for first order factor in numerator. Okay. What about the phase angle? Again, phase angle, obviously we have to calculate, but anyway, we can see that it is going to be at omega equal to 0. We are going to get 0. At omega equal to 1 by t, we will get 45 degrees. And at omega equal to infinity, we will get 90 degrees. Means what? The range of phase angle, when we vary omega from 0 to infinity, is going to be from 0 to 90 degrees, right? So range of omega, range of phi, the phase angle is going to be from 0 to 90 degrees. So now let's see how this factor will be, the graph of this factor will be plotted. Now recall that the expression is in 1 plus st form. Okay, 1 plus st form. That is very important. This you have already seen when we talked about the first system time response of first order system. That time we have found out the gain and the gain k, DC gain k, and time constant. So this is time constant representation. We have to know, we have to have it in form 1 plus st. So if a factor is in this form s plus 3, then we have to first convert it into 1 plus st form. So you divide this by 3, so we get 1. You divide this by 3 here as well as here. So what we will get? 1 plus 1 by 3s. So t in our case, in this first case, is what? How much? T in this case is 3. Okay. Sorry, T is 1 by 3, right? So omega, this omega, okay? This omega, we have seen omega we have section between omega less than 1 by t and omega greater than 1 by t. This 1 by t is called the corner frequency. Omega is equal to 1 by t is called corner frequency. Can you guess why is it being called corner frequency? Because you can see this is something like a corner being formed here, right? Here a corner is getting formed. So at omega equal to 3 in this particular case now, t is 1 by 3, so omega is equal to 3. So at omega equal to 3, until omega equal to 3, we have gain 0. See, the gain is 0 until omega equal to 1 by 3, omega equal to 3. And after omega equal to 3, gain is a straight line having slope of 20 dB per decade. Now we have seen in our earlier lecture how to draw these lines, right? Positive slope line and negative slope line. We have seen this, how to draw that line. The important point which I explained the other day is to see where this omega equal to 3 is. So as I explained the other day, every division is going to be the addition of the previous major value. So if this is 1, this is going to be 2, this is going to be 3, this is going to be 20, this is 30, likewise. Similarly, this is 200, right? This is 2000. Okay, this is the logarithmic scale. That's why it is like this. Okay, so we have this now. All these things we have with us. So at omega equal to 3, why is it important? Because this corner frequency is the most important thing in this case now. Because you know, if there is a first order factor in the numerator, the shape is always going to be like this. The shape is going to be like this. The point is where to put this corner. That is the only thing. That's why you must calculate and point that corner frequency properly and correctly. Okay, got it? Now, what about the phase plot? So phase, as I said, we have to just simply calculate the phase angles and point. We have to just calculate at multiple locations and we have to just simply connect the dots. Okay, this is drawn just like normal curve, that like what you draw a freehand curve, like that you have to draw. Again, but important point is this omega equal to t, you must draw. The corner frequency value of phase, you must draw. Okay, these are the most important points which we must draw on the graph. Okay, now if that first order factor is in the denominator, what we will do means what? J omega t plus 1 raised to minus 1, just I have indicated like that. So the analysis is almost the same. This is an example of that point, right? 1 upon s plus 3. So again, we will have to convert it anyway, this factor. Okay, we will have to convert it. And what will happen because of that? If we convert this, what we have to do? Divide by 3, divide by 3. So 1 plus, what we will get here in the denominator? 1 plus 1 by 3 s. We have this. However, what will happen? This also has to be divided, means the gain will change. So we have to pay attention to the gain also. So the point to focus here is, again, whenever we are going to make these kind of adjustments, we have to do this before starting. We cannot do the adjustment after we calculate the gain for or the k, the plot for k, right? We have to do it for all. Once we do it, once we do this representation for all of them, then only we have to go ahead with that. Okay, so the analysis again, the formula is the same. Just here we have the minus sign, and it is minus 20 log of square root 1 plus omega square t squared. Okay, so when omega is quite small, we again have gain equal to 0. And when omega, the frequency is large, we have the magnitude is equal to minus 20 log of omega t. Means what? The shape is just reversed. The corner frequency is the same. Calculation of corner frequency is the same, right? How we are going to calculate the corner frequency is the same, 1 by t. Before corner frequency, our magnitude is 0. And after corner frequency, our magnitude is a straight line having slope of minus 20 dB per decade, right? So this is about the magnitude plot of first order factor in denominator. What about the phase? For phase, we simply have to just calculate the phase angles at various values of sample frequencies. And there you must have these 3 frequencies. Obviously, when you are going to solve the problem, it will be more clear to you that only having 3 frequencies or calculating phase at only 3 frequencies is not sufficient. You will have to add or calculate at multiple frequencies. And that is dependent on multiple factors also. Whatever factors you have to find out frequencies at all those corner frequencies of corresponding factors, and also some intermediate factors, so that you get a smooth curve. You should be able to plot a smooth curve. Okay. So these are the phase angles for this first order factor. At omega equal to 0, it is 0. Omega equal to 1 by t, it is minus 45 degree. And omega equal to infinity, it is minus 90 degree. Okay. The graph is quite similar, as I said. The important point again here is this corner frequency. We must be able to draw, and we must clearly indicate the corner frequency like this, omega equal to 3. And after that, we must draw the correct line of minus 20 dB per decade. Now, as you are looking at this single factor, you may think that it is quite simple. Why this problem will be asked for 14 or 16 marks? It is not like that, because in a graph, in a transfer function, you will be given not this much simple transfer function. There will be a bigger transfer function or more complicated transfer function will be there. And for that transfer function, there will be multiple factors. And for those multiple factors, we have to first make these lines like faint lines, and then we have to algebraically add all those lines, or algebraically add the values of those individual factors at each frequency. We will see that how it is done. It will be clear from the example. Okay. So now this is the magnitude plot of the first order factor in denominator. Okay. And this is something like this is a phase plot of the first order factor in the denominator. You have to draw the line freehand. Here you have some certain points, right? You have those certain points and you have to just connect those points. Okay, for the phase plot. Now, let's take an example, and from that example, it will be much more clearer to you how this Bode plot is being drawn. Okay. Still, this is a simple example, but this is sufficient for you to understand. Okay, 20s upon s plus 10. Now, can someone tell me how shall we proceed? What shall we do first? Anyone? Anyone would like to pitch in? What shall we do first? We have to see how many major factors are, basic factors are there. There seems to be this one factor 20, which is the gain factor. Then there is this S in the numerator, means the derivative factor. And there is this first order factor in the denominator, right? However, shall we start with the gain 20? No, because the gain is not really 20. We have to convert this factor into time constant form. And the conversion will turn out to be like this. Now, do you see, am I correct? What I have done, I have divided the numerator and denominator by 10. I have divided the numerator and denominator of this function by 10. Okay, so that I get 1 here. So s by 10 is 0.1 s and 20 by 10 is 2, right? So we have got what? We have got the transfer function now in the time constant form, and the value of that is 2s upon 0.1 s plus 1. Okay. Okay. So this is what the transfer function is. Now we can go ahead and find out individual magnitude plots of these three factors. Okay. These three factors are gain 2, derivative factor s, and first order factor in the denominator, which is 0.1 s plus 1. Okay. That is in the denominator. So for gain 2, the magnitude in dB in decibels is simply 20 log of 2. So that is 6 dB. So what will be the shape of this gain factor? It is simply a straight line drawn at value 6. If this is 0 dB and this is 6 dB, so that this is the straight line, means whatever the value of frequency is, omega 1, 2, 3, whatever the values of the frequency is, gain is going to be fixed. Gain is not going to change. So this is that line, 6 dB line, which will be the contribution of gain factor k is equal to 2. Then by the derivative factor, what is the contribution? We know already, right? A derivative factor contributes 20 dB per decade, right? Derivative factor contributes 20 dB per decade, right? This is again a straight line, but from where shall I draw this? From which point shall we draw this? So any idea? Anyone can guess where shall we draw this 20 dB per decade line? Because this is all these lines, whatever I'm drawing, all these may be 20 dB per decade lines, right? All these lines are 20 dB per decade lines. Am I correct or not? All these lines, whatever I have drawn, let's not talk about the accuracy of that 20 the slope, but if we say that all the slopes are 20 dB, so all are correct. So where shall it be? Any guess? Actually, no guess required. Any? What do you think? Where shall it be? It can be done by looking at the 0 dB line. Okay. If this is the 0 dB line, when will this be 0? At 0 dB line, which line intersects the 0 dB line? Right? All these lines will intersect. All the 20 dB per decade lines will intersect the 0 dB line at some value. Somewhere they are going to intersect. So we just find out that point of intersection, where that point is where that line is intersecting. And how is it done? If you substitute 0 at the point of intersection, obviously the gain of that factor is 0. So 0 is equal to 20 log of omega. So what is the value of omega in this case? Yes. You have to reply. Someone reply. What is the value of omega? Log of omega is equal to 0. Yes. Log of omega is equal to 0. So omega is equal to yes. How do you get this? See, if you're, this is not at all, this is not at all control system question. This is some, I don't know when you have learned, 8th or 10th maybe. But this you are going to need, this you will need to solve the problems. And you cannot always say, we have learned it a long time ago and something like that. We have to look at these things. I will leave it to you. Just you will tell me afterwards somewhere, any time later. You will tell. Somebody has already told me. Okay, everyone else has to tell me that. Okay, because everyone will have to solve this. Everyone will have to find out this thing. It is not just a random thing that I'm asking. Okay. Okay, I just tell me what is this log of 100? What is the value of this? Of course, we are all talking about only base 10 logarithms. When we talk about the decibel scale, it is a base 10 logarithm. So log of 100 is equal to 2. Log of 10 is equal to 1. So log of omega is equal to 0. So what will be the value of omega? That is what the question is. Simple. Yes. Yes, somebody said something.
1, sir.
1. So is it that difficult question? Why do I need to explain this to you? Why do I need to explain this? Okay, so the point was the 20 dB per decade line that we know the derivative factor is going to contribute. But at what point that line intersects the 0 dB line is when omega is equal to 1. When omega is equal to 1, you know, right? The scale you have to check at what point omega is equal to 1. From that point, you have to draw the positive slope line. At that particular point, you have to draw the positive slope line. Okay, got it? Now, when the third factor in our, I will just erase all this stuff here. Okay, the third factor in our transfer function is the first order factor in denominator, that is 1 plus 0.1 s. And when we have that factor, we know that we get two sections. Omega is equal to 1 by t. Okay, when omega is less than 1 by t, gain will be 0. Now why 10 here? T is 0.1. This is t, right? T is 0.1. So 1 by t is equal to 10. Right? So we have when omega is quite less than 10, when omega is less than 10, magnitude is 0. And when omega is greater than 10, magnitude is going to be minus 20 dB per decade straight line. Okay. And in this particular case, for the third case, the first order factor in denominator, we already know the point of intersection. Where do we draw this diagram? This line, we draw that line from this particular point, right? At omega equal to 1 by t, it is going to intersect at the 0 dB line. So from that point, we have to draw the particular line. So Let's see here. This is a semi-log paper. I have taken the scale here. Now, let's see for the first factor, k is equal to 2, means the gain factor. This is the horizontal straight line. Is it correct? What was the value of gain in magnitude in the decibel units? See, it was 6 dB. So here is the line at 6 dB. See here, this is 0, this is 10. So each line here is each line is of 2. So this is 6 dB line. Okay, horizontal line at 6 dB. Second factor is a 20 dB per decade line, and that line intersects the 0 dB line. Remember this, that line intersects this 0 dB line at omega equal to 1. Okay, this is what you have to pay attention to. Very, very clearly you will have to draw this, and very carefully you have to draw this. At omega equal to 1, magnitude is 0 dB, and it has to be a 20 dB per decade line. Means at omega equal to 10, how much will be the magnitude? At omega equal to 10, the magnitude has to be 20. So is it correct? Is this 20? Is this 20? See here, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, right? So this is 20 at omega equal to 10. So you have to, you can connect these 2 points, and that would be your 20 dB per decade line from your particular point. Okay. This is for the, which factor we have drawn this? We have drawn this for the S in numerator. If the meeting may end, you will have to rejoin, because we are going to complete this this problem. Okay, and then the third factor, which one was it? This one, this factor. So what we have is omega, the corner frequency, is equal to 10, right? And until that point, we have 0 dB magnitude. So this is that line, right? This one, this horizontal line, 0 dB line. And after that, we are going to have slope of minus 20 dB per decade, like this, right? So 0 dB up to omega equal to 10, and after that minus 20 dB per decade. Okay. This meeting is ending. You